Every weekday, millions of people hand the same thing to their employer: 8 hours. Not seven, not nine, 8. It feels so normal that it almost sounds biological: 8 hours to work, 8 to sleep, and 8 for everything else. But no scientist discovered this schedule. No ancient civilization proved it was ideal. The 8-hour day began as a protest against something much worse.
Before factories, people absolutely worked hard. Farming could begin before sunrise. Craftspeople could work late into the night. But much of that work was organized around tasks, seasons, weather, and daylight. You finished the harvest. You repaired the roof. You made the chair.
Industrialization changed the unit being sold. A factory worker was not paid for one finished object. The worker sold a block of time. That difference changed everything. Factories contained machines that were expensive when silent and profitable when moving. Bells pulled hundreds of people through the same gate. Clocks synchronized their bodies with the production line. Gas and electric light made darkness less important. The question was no longer, is the task finished? It became, how long can the machines keep running? For many workers, the answer was 12 hours or more, 6 days a week. The schedule was not chosen because 12 hours was healthy. It was chosen because employers had the power to demand it, so 8 hours sounded radical. In 1817, the British social reformer Robert Owen proposed a simple division of the day: 8 hours of labor, 8 hours of recreation, and 8 hours of rest. It was memorable because it divided 24 hours into 3 equal pieces. But it was not a scientific formula for maximum productivity. It was a political demand. Work should not consume almost every waking hour. For decades, the slogan traveled faster than the victory. In 1856, stonemasons in Melbourne stopped work and marched for an 8-hour day without losing pay. They won, but most workers did not immediately receive the same protection. In the United States, the demand became a mass movement. On May 1, 1886, workers across the country joined strikes and rallies for 8 hours. In Chicago, conflict between police and workers escalated. At a protest in Haymarket Square, someone threw a bomb. 8 labor activists were convicted even though the prosecution could not connect them to the bomb. 4 were executed. Haymarket turned the 8-hour movement into an international symbol of labor rights and of the price people had paid to challenge the clock. Then business discovered that shorter hours could sometimes help business. Henry Ford did not invent the 8-hour day, but in 1914, Ford Motor Company reduced the workday in its factories from 9 hours to 8 and doubled the basic daily wage to $5. The company said the change helped it keep workers in exhausting assembly line jobs. In 1919, the International Labor Organization adopted its first convention, built around an 8-hour day and a 48-hour week in industry. In the United States, the Fair Labor Standards Act of 1938 created a federal minimum wage and set a 44-hour standard work week for covered employees. 2 years later, the overtime threshold fell to 40 hours. Work beyond that point generally became more expensive because of overtime pay. Notice what the law did not say. Every adult must stop working after exactly 8 hours. The modern 8-hour day is partly law, partly union history, partly business practice, and partly habit. It survived because entire systems learned to coordinate around it. Factory shifts, school hours, commuter trains, childcare, meetings, payroll software. Even the phrase 9 to 5. Once millions of schedules locked together, changing one company is easy. Changing the shared clock is hard. That is the paradox. In the 19th century, 8 hours was a demand for freedom. It protected part of the day from being swallowed by the factory. Today, the same number can feel arbitrary, especially when a nurse, driver, designer, warehouse worker, and remote employee perform completely different kinds of labor. Both things can be true. The 8-hour day was a major victory over a harsher system. It was also never a law of nature or a perfect answer for every kind of work. It became normal because people fought for a common limit. Businesses adapted to it. Governments encoded it. and society organized around it. So the next time the clock reaches 9 and your workday begins, remember, you are not following a biological rhythm. You are living inside a 200-year-old compromise. The machines changed, the work changed, the clock mostly didn't.